How do you feel as far as like, because we talk about it all the time here in the office and stuff, just talking about like the news articles and everything coming out, constantly saying like, oh, there's a housing bubble, there's issues in the market, it's going to crash. What's like your take? How do you feel about all the news
Man,
coming out? I just feel like they're scaring everybody.
I don't want to scare anybody worse, but I feel like there's definitely something to be worried about in some sense of it. Um, we're living in uncertain times. I mean, I want to point out this. All right, so back in '08, right, we had hundreds of banks go down.
Yeah.
Hundreds of banks went bankrupt.
Right.
So that's one of the things I've seen a lot of people talk about. Well, like, well, in '08 there was hundreds of banks that went out. This year there's only been like 3 or 4, right?
Right.
The biggest one being SVB, and the
Yep.
second one being that one in New York, right? So everybody's like, oh, well, we've only had a couple of bank failures this year, so it's not a big deal.
Right. Because they fail every year.
Yeah, but here's the difference, though. In '08, there was 100 and I believe there was it was either 170 or 190 bank failures. You'll have to check it on Google because I don't know, but I know it was a lot. It was like over 100 and something.
Right.
All those banks were small, like up
Mom
and
and
coming.
pops,
Yeah, like they were
kinda.
small banks.
Yeah.
So like before '08, everybody was getting into real estate because it was booming.
Yeah.
Like pre '08, '05 to '08, everybody was getting in.
Right.
At the peak, I mean, everybody was making a killing. Lenders were charging out the ass for stuff, and like people were doing those loans and stuff, like no income loans and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And
Adjustable loans.
variable rate loans and all that stuff. So like back then, like everything was going.
Yeah.
And that's what caused the crash, right?
Yeah.
But then all these banks crashed because they were new up and coming banks that had no structure, no foundation under them.
Yeah,
They were kind
exactly.
of new banks. So there was not a lot of money. If I remember correctly, there was like 190 banks in '08 that crashed, and their entire net worth of all 190 banks was not even like, I want to say it was like $300 million. It wasn't even a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
Not in comparison.
Yeah. No.
SVB, when they crashed, it was the 16th largest bank in the United States, and it was a bank for startups.
Yeah.
It was basically all the rich people that wanted to invest their money into startup company stuff was investing their money into that bank.
Yeah.
All right. The problem is that bank, when it crashed, had over $200 billion in assets.
Yeah.
So you're talking one bank that crushed the 190 banks that crashed in '08.
Yeah.
Completely different scenario.
Right.
So in my opinion, that is something to be a little bit more concerned about. You have a large, very, very prominent big bank. I mean, that'd be like Wells Fargo or something going out.
Right.
Like, that's a big deal.
But could you also blame it on the fact that they definitely mismanaged their money?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like you can just tell because I mean everybody got fired. There's no way you just go out of business that quick if you didn't do something wrong.
Yeah, the problem was they were over-investing and not keeping enough liquid to cover pullouts.
That's exactly right.
When people get nervous, they want to go pull out the money, and if they don't have the money to do it, well, hey, guess what? You're going to file bankruptcy.
Yep.
Get it? That's a big problem. But then, on top of that, man, you got so many other problems going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got China just linked up with Russia. They're getting rid of the U.S. dollar as far as their
I
main
was
currency.
actually listening to something about that this morning, which is crazy if that happens. Because I mean,
already happened.
where's it going to put us though?
Yeah, like the dollar is, it's going down.
Yeah.
It's not it don't mean as much as what it used to. So like, the economy has sunken. I mean, the economy's not doing good over here right now.
Yeah, no.
We're overinflated. You got banks crashing. Interest rates have skyrocketed.